Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and the market is going to turn around. XRP is going to see a second leg up. We are going to see an alt season. Now, the interesting thing is, ladies and gents, when I first started making content, XRP was trading sideways in a bear market. And for the longest time, I was talking about XRP skyrocketing when we got to October, November 2024. And that was met with the same type of negativity that we're seeing now. People are talking about XRP being dead, XRP not going anywhere, XRP being done. There was going to not be any more bear market, bull run, Bitcoin halving. There was nothing positive that was coming out of trading sideways. And all those people proven wrong. And the reason why I bring this up is that we're on an unprecedented downward sideways trajectory right now in the market. We should be at the height of an alt season, and we're not. As frustrating as it is, we're not. And unfortunately, all that negativity has crept back in, and a lot of people are saying, well, Barry C, you're talking about XRP skyrocketing, and maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Well, the reason why I'm talking about it is because I am sharing with each and every one of you my plans, my strategies. It's not financial advice. I'm just sharing what I'm doing and what my perspective is. And you know what? As you've heard me say many times, I've been in crypto since 2016. I've seen the market go up, and what goes up must come down. And the same is true the other way. What goes down invariably always goes back up. And a lot of the time, it's the going up when we least expect it. Despite the fact you can go back and look at charts, you can go back and look at where the market has gone and where it's going, potentially. You can make the most educated, calculated decisions on previous bull runs. And it's funny because, I'm not really a TA person. I'm not really kind of a technical person. For me, I look at my experience being in the market. I look at what crypto has done since 2016 until now. I look at the fact that we've had Bitcoin halving events, post-Bitcoin halving bull runs. We've had the second leg up to those bull runs, which are alt seasons. And then we have about a 3.5-year dip and trading sideways, which is the bear market. And it's been that way since 2016 until now. And XRP has always performed exceptionally well every bull run, every alt season, no matter what. And we're in a frustrating situation where XRP has already performed exceptionally well the first leg up. But here we are, waiting for that second leg up, waiting for the alt season. And it's really easy to fall back into negative habits and to listen to the negativity. And for me, when I talk about where the market's going, where XRP is going, and the fact that it could skyrocket at any time, that's the reality of crypto. When people were looking at Bitcoin back in 2016, when I was first getting into it, I wasn't sitting there going, well, this could go to $100,000 one day. If anything, it was looking at Bitcoin for the first time going, oh, okay, it's a couple $100, that's something I could do, and maybe it will go well. Who knows? There wasn't much information back then. It was the same thing in 2017 when you could get XRP for 0.006 cents a coin. Nobody thought in the space of a year it would go to over $3 a coin, especially a crypto that was so fudded even back then. Ethereum is another good example. 2017 when it was trading $10 a coin. Nobody was talking about a $2,000 Ethereum back then. If anything, people were saying don't touch it because why would you buy another crypto other than Bitcoin? These were all the negative narratives back then. And funnily enough, here we are in 2025. We have a lot more information at our disposal. We have a lot more cryptos in the crypto space. And the negativity hasn't changed. And what I've seen happen every single bull run, I've seen this happen year in, year out, is people keep making the same mistakes. The main mistake people make is they assume they have time. And that's why you see so much negativity now where people say, oh, it's irresponsible that you should even talk about XRP skyrocketing. It's the exact same negativity we heard for 3.5 years. And then in November, XRP skyrocketed and led the way. And it goes back to points I've made in other videos where XRP will be cheap until it's not. And it's a really simple thing to understand. And so people push this idea of, well, XRP is not going to have another leg up. It's not going to skyrocket. It's not going to do $10 or $20 or whatever the negativity is that's being pushed. And it's the exact same thing we heard before November 2024. It's the exact same negativity we heard in 2019 heading into 2020 when XRP was 10 cents. Then it went to 19 cents. Then it went to 50 cents, $1, $1.65, $1.80. Same thing back in 2017. Why would you touch XRP? It's a banker's coin. We don't want a banker's coin. We want a crypto that doesn't want to work with a bank. We want an alternative. This is when XRP was 0.006 cents a coin. Even at less than 1 cent a coin, and XRP being the number one crypto in finance, people still found a reason not to buy it. And the hate on XRP. It's been that way every step of the way, every price point you can imagine. Less than 1 cent, $1, $3, $2.50, 50 cents, 60 cents, whatever it was, whatever it is, whatever it will be, there's always a reason not to buy XRP. And the reason why I bring this up is that we're seeing the exact same negativity come around right now. And all these people make the same mistakes over and over again. No one does anything differently. And these are the same people who will sit there at the height of an alt season or directly after the fact, and they're going to say the exact same thing people were saying in November of 2024, which is, I wish I could have done things differently. I wish I bought more XRP. Or in some instances, I wish I'd bought XRP in the first place. And it doesn't matter at what point in XRP's history and at what point and at what bull run, I've seen this happen every single time. And that's why I'm making this content. Because it took me a very long time to develop my crypto mindset. It took me a very long time to be comfortable and confident in doing things my way. Because you want to emulate the people that have so-called success or emulate the people who are so-called experts. And what you learn being in crypto long enough is that it has to be the plan that works for you. And it has to be the cryptos that make sense to you. And the reality is, ladies and gents, you're not going to have someone there to hold your hand at the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. You have to be accountable to yourself. And that's something you've heard me discuss before. This idea of ignoring the extremes, the extreme positives and the extreme negatives, especially when it comes to XRP. People are always going to find excuses to give themselves more time because they're not 100% about the decisions that they're making. And it's only after the fact that they realize the mistakes they've made. And people have to learn that the hard way sometimes. I did. I had to learn the very hard way that I had to build a plan, especially when it came to XRP, and it had to be a plan that worked for me. What wasn't going to work was not just emulating other people, but making decisions and assumptions based on what other people had said. And a really good example of this is people kind of bragging or boasting about how much XRP they would hold. And we saw November 2024 roll around and none of these people took profit. Because they're all waiting for a totally higher price. And I say that with sarcasm because all these people now wish they could go back in time and take profit. And that's all part of the plan. Having a plan that works. And look, not everyone's plans are going to work the same way for others. Some people may have smaller XRP bags. Other people may be in crypto long enough and they've got bigger XRP bags and so they can afford to take profit. I've said this many times, but I think it's worth repeating. When we have the market performing the way it is, and it's obviously not performing the way we want it to, those are the times to look at our plans, focus on short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, focus on those take profit points. So when the market does turn around, we're in the best position possible to actually make some money. And ladies and gents, the market will turn around. I'm not really a massive fan of technical analysis. I've said this many times before. I've seen many of these so-called experts do the whole, well, it could go up, it could go down, it could trade sideways. I could tell you that. But I've been in crypto long enough to know that it's all about time. And then when things move rapidly, they move rapidly. And for those of you who followed me for quite some time, you've heard me talk about this, and it was proven last year. For years and years, you heard me talk about October, November 2024. And of course, a lot of people dismissed that because it wasn't happening immediately. They would have to still wait 6 months, 8 months. People want results immediately. They want it straight away. And of course, when we went from October into November, suddenly XRP was on a parabolic run. And you know what? 50 cents to over $2 a coin in the space of a month is really amazing. And you watch the entire energy around XRP shift rapidly. And this is what I'm talking about. It's this whole idea of people getting suckered into this notion of, well, I've got time to buy XRP. And then suddenly they didn't. And the first thing people said after the initial euphoria was, I wish I'd bought more XRP. I wish I'd done things differently. And the exact same thing will happen this year. When the market turns around, people will look back on February, March, and April and go, I should have bought more. I should have done things differently. And I know I've seen it happen. Every time the market has boomed, every time we've seen a bull run, that is the main sentiment you see. And typically it's on the other side, when people get to the end of an alt season and they realize it's over. And now they're going to wait 4 years for the next one. That's when they've realized the mistake they make. And people make it every time with XRP. And ladies and gents, this is not financial advice. It's just the perspective of someone who's been in crypto for a very long time. And as somebody who had to learn the hard way to build a crypto mindset so that when people were either in extreme euphoria or people are in extreme panic, I've built a foundation so that I can actually take some profits and I can make the most of my crypto positions. And that takes time to develop. And look, in all honesty, of course, this market state frustrates me more than anything. Because we had the first leg up of the alt season, or the bull run, play out perfectly. And XRP completely led the way. Followed closely by HBAR, but XRP dominated. And things were looking so positive. And here we are now. And so the main thing is, what do? Do we just succumb to the negativity and the frustration and go, well, it's done, it's over, I'm sick of it, and sideline ourselves? Or do we go, you know what? We pivot, we grow, we evolve. For those of us who have the resources, we accumulate. For those of us who don't have the resources, we hold. We reassess and we wait. Because here's the thing, ladies and gents. As I said, once the market turns around and turns around rapidly, you watch all these people who are spouting this negativity and the people who are saying it's never going to happen, they'll disappear, never to be seen. And you don't want to be on the sidelines going, well, wait a minute, I didn't buy any XRP because I was totally listening to that expert who's now disappeared. You know the amount of people who messaged me that in November 2024, saying that they shouldn't have listened to, insert influencer here or whatever group of people they were listening to? They didn't trust their gut. They didn't trust their instincts. They got suckered in to the herd mentality. And that's why it's so important. Develop a plan that works for you. Develop something that you are happy with. Even if it's not perfect, it's a foundation. It's a starting point. Because when the market starts moving, and it will turn around rapidly, it'll turn around just as quickly as it dipped. And you're going to start to see really exciting XRP prices. And where do you want to be? Do you want to be standing on a really amazing foundation of a plan that you've spent time building and considering, and you've preemptively put it in place, ready to implement when the market turns around? Or do you want to rapidly be FOMOing in because you got distracted, you succumbed to the negativity, and now you're suddenly playing rapid catch-up? And instead of being in the best position possible, now you're making panic decisions. And now you're going to get to the height of the alt season and go, I wish I'd done things differently. And look, the alt season may not happen in the next couple of weeks, it may not happen in the next couple of months. I think a lot of things are up in the air. But for me, I've got my plan, I've got my foundation, and when things start moving, I'm in the best position possible to make the most of the next alt season rally. And I hope each and every one of you take that time to build that foundation, to build your plan, so that you can be in a similar position. Now, as I said, ladies and gents, none of this is financial advice. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're curious about the other cryptos I hold outside of XRP, consider becoming a Patreon. Click the link in the description below, head across to my Patreon page, and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. There you'll have access to all my cryptos, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time.